This right here is the air tank that I used for my Nerf blaster, but of course it can be used for anything else that can be powered by air. It's pretty simple. All you gotta do is just pump it up using a bike pump. It has a Schrader valve there. And to let out air, you just turn the knob here and air comes out. So the way that I built it is I just used these soda bottles and I 3D printed caps that I then acetone smoothed, and then I just screw them on and it creates a pretty good seal. So on top of these caps, they just look like this. I have this Schrader valve. These are actually kind of expensive, but whatever, it works. And I also have these push fit kind of valve adapter things for 6mm air tubing, and it works pretty well. So this I only pump it up to about 60 psi. I've read online, or I've seen online bottles bursting at starting at 100 psi, so I just pump it up to 60 psi because I think that's the, once you go past that, 80 is pushing it, so 60 psi is I think it's pretty safe. So on this valve, it only shows you the pressure on the output side, so you never know how much air is in your tank. But one trick that you can do is, if I just move my camera down here, if you just pinch the output side like that and then turn the hose, or turn the knob, it will show you how much air is in the tank. So here you can see I have about 60 psi. And this air tank will, well, for my application, for my Nerf blaster, it lasts, probably about 60 shots, but that's 60 shots of, shooting a dart a pretty good distance. So you can shoot more than 60 darts, or more than 60 shots. So it just depends on how much air is in your, what I'm using is a back pressure tank. So it depends on how much volume is in that tank, and also how much PSI that you're putting inside the tank, inside your back pressure tank. I just put in about 40 PSI and I get about 180. So yeah, I'm just gonna take it out just to show you more about how it works. So obviously there are 3 or 4 soda bottles, 3 2-liter soda bottles, and one, I'm not sure what size this is, but you get the point. And they're all linked together using just 6mm air tubing and using the push fit valves. That's what I'm gonna call them now. And yeah, the thing I like about this design is, even though it uses more parts than my previous design using the larger diameter vinyl tubing and the hose clamps, I like this because to add more bottles to this array, or this chain of soda bottles, you just have to take it out and then yeah, so that's my air tank. It's actually, I spent a lot of time on it. I originally made this just to make like a cheap like CO2 tank, but in the end I spent way more time on it than I thought I would. But I'm still really happy with the result because it's airtight, or it's not perfectly airtight, but it's the seal is good enough, and it holds a surprisingly large amount of air. So I'm just gonna let all the air out now, just to give you an idea of how much air is in it. So it's a lot of air, and yeah, so that's my my air tank using soda bottles and 3D printed caps.